No, you did not click on the wrong video. Or maybe you did, but for those of you that are subscribed, this still is an MG Reviews video, and I really am doing a review of the Mercedes-Benz eSprinter. Why? Well, it just happened to be in the press fleet, and why not? It's unique, it's different. So, what's this thing like? Let's go for a drive and find out.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
So, how does the Mercedes-Benz eSprinter feel to drive? Well, it feels big. Not in the sense that it is wide, but in a sense that it's tall and long, which it is, obviously. With a wheelbase of 170 inches, this van is longer than most pickup trucks. And of course, it is much taller too. But it's no wider than something like a Range Rover. It's also not really too cumbersome to drive. The steering is light, so it makes it very easy to maneuver around the parking lot. And the turning circle is big, but it's not so big that you need to do a 3-point turn everywhere that you go. In terms of power, you have two options with this eSprinter. You can get it with a standard output motor or a high output motor. This one is the latter, and the motor powers only the back wheels. You can't have the eSprinter with an all-wheel drive system, at least not for the time being. Maybe in the future that may come, but I don't know. For now, this high output motor produces 201 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. The standard output motor produces a little bit less power, 134 horsepower, but the torque remains the same. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour with the high output option is somewhere in the 12 to 13 second range. So it is not a very quick van. And also the top speed is limited to 120 kilometers an hour. I think that's about 75 miles an hour or thereabouts. But even though it's not particularly quick in a straight line, it doesn't feel like as though it's impeding traffic when you're merging onto a highway or setting off from a stop. Yes, when you are going up a steep hill or merging onto a highway, you probably will have to go full throttle. However, this eSprinter doesn't feel quite the same as some other electric vehicles. The acceleration in this van is gradual as it builds up to max power, so even if you mash your foot on the accelerator pedal in an instant, you won't get that neck snapping acceleration that you would get in some other electric vehicles. Perhaps Mercedes-Benz tuned the accelerator pedal and the electric motors this way so that nothing tips over in the back when you do want to accelerate really quickly. You also get 3 different drive modes to choose from. By default, it is Comfort, and you get full power and full use of the climate controls. The other 2 are Eco and Maximum Range. Each one progressively lowers the amount of maximum power that you get, and each one further restricts the use of the climate controls. When it comes to slowing down, the eSprinter does use regenerative braking to scrub off most of the speed, and you do have a few different modes to choose from. The default mode is actually pretty strong, but you still do need to use the brake pedal to come to a complete stop. There is also a max regen mode, which, as the name implies, provides maximum regenerative braking, and it is almost like a one-pedal drive mode. It slows down the van by a lot, but for the last 10-15 kilometers an hour or so, you still need to put your foot on the brake pedal to come to a complete stop. There's also an auto regen mode, which will detect the vehicle ahead if there is one, and it will apply regen force depending on how close you are and what the vehicle ahead is doing. So if it slows down, you slow down. If it maintains a constant speed, it doesn't apply very much regen braking force. Or if there is no vehicle ahead, you get no regen braking and you're just coasting whenever you lift your foot off the accelerator pedal. As for the brakes themselves, they feel pretty strong. Mind you, I haven't had a chance to fully load up the van, but when it's unloaded, it takes very little effort to bring the van to a complete stop, even under emergency situations. However, the brake pedal itself doesn't really feel all that great, which is unfortunately a characteristic of some other Mercedes-Benz vehicles as well. So for the first 20-25% of applying your foot on it, it just feels like as though you're stepping on air. It's only further that you actually feel a bit more force up against your foot. But don't get me wrong, even before you do start to feel more resistance up against your foot, you do slow down. So even if you apply, let's say 5% braking force, it will still slow down. Whether it's with the standard output or the higher output motor, the eSprinter uses a 113 kilowatt hour battery pack. Mercedes-Benz claims an estimated range of up to 331 kilometers. However, this number can greatly fluctuate based on a few different factors, such as how much weight the van is carrying, your driving style, and the ambient temperature, among many others. But with light accelerator pedal applications and an unloaded cargo area, the eSprinter's trip computer was estimating a little over 400 kilometers in total range with a fully charged battery while I was driving the van. The eSprinter's battery pack can be recharged at a rate of up to 50 kilowatts or 115 kilowatts with the navigation charging package. At the maximum charge rate, 10% to 80% can be achieved in about 40 minutes, while the same state of charge from a 50 kilowatt charger will take approximately 90 minutes. From a level 2 9.6 kilowatt charger, 10% to 100% is said to take about 12.5 hours. As for the capability of this van, it cannot tow or carry as much as an equivalent diesel-powered version. This eSprinter can only carry up to 2,624 pounds of payload and can tow up to 4,277 pounds. The ride of the Mercedes-Benz eSprinter is actually not that bad. It's by no means a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, but thanks to the longer wheelbase and the heavy batteries in the middle, it actually drives over bumps relatively well. On highways, there is some road noise from the tires. Mind you, this particular van does have snow tires on it already, which are generally louder than all-season tires. And of course, you can't escape the size of it, so that means there is some wind noise as well. You can also feel crosswinds a little bit more in this than you would in, say, a regular minivan like the Honda Odyssey. It doesn't feel like as though the van is going to tip over or anything like that, but you do have to provide minute inputs to the steering to stay in a straight line during heavier crosswinds. Inside the Mercedes-Benz eSprinter, in the front area at least, you only do get 2 seats with a big open space in between them. In fact, it is so big and the roof is so tall that somebody at 6'4" like me can almost stand up straight. My hair is right up against the headliner and I am tilting my head a little bit. Unfortunately, the camera can't see it, but it is very, very spacious. When you sit back down, again, plenty of space, plenty of legroom, and obviously plenty of headroom. In this eSprinter, you also sit really high up, so I have excellent visibility out the front and out the side. Obviously, out the back, I don't see anything, and my blind zones are really big because there's no back windows. However, this Mercedes-Benz eSprinter does have 2 different types of mirrors, and it is optioned with the blind spot sensors. As for visibility out the back, this eSprinter does have a rear camera mirror. The design of the interior does feel like a Mercedes-Benz product because you do get the same steering wheel that you find in some other Mercedes-Benz cars and SUVs. And unfortunately, this one does have those capacitive touch controls, which I absolutely hate because every time that I swipe up, for example, it thinks that I'm swiping left or right or vice versa. So I do not like that. The air vents are exactly the same as they are in other Mercedes cars, as are the toggle switches for the climate control. And you do get a smaller touchscreen for the MBUX infotainment system rather than the large tablet-style touchscreens that you get in some other Mercedes-Benz products, like the Mercedes CLE, for example. This interior is also festooned with cup holders and little cubbies where you can store smaller items. So there's 4 cup holders in the center console. You get a couple more cup holders in the dashboard, and there are also 3 glove boxes that you can open up in the dashboard. You get a little bit of storage underneath the passenger side airbag, and there's more storage right above the window visors. Plus, there are some really big cubbies in the door panels as well. And let's look at the front seats of the Mercedes-Benz eSprinter. Now let's go check out the cargo area. Unfortunately for the 2024 model year, you can only get the Mercedes-Benz eSprinter in the 170-inch wheelbase and high roof option. But for 2025, it will be available in the shorter 144-inch wheelbase option and standard roof height. The rear doors on this one can be opened 270 degrees, and they reveal 488 cubic feet or just under 14,000 liters of cargo space. In this high roof configuration, I, at 6'4", remember, can stand up straight in the cargo area. The side passenger door provides a wide opening, and you can further add a driver's side door. You can also add sunroofs in the cargo area and rear windows. In fact, there are a lot of customization options for the cargo area of the eSprinter, way too many to list out in this video. The 2024 Mercedes-Benz eSprinter starts at $97,990 Canadian. With the higher output motor and a few convenience packages, this demo van had an as-tested price of $114,729 Canadian. In some markets, the eSprinter is eligible for government rebates. While this is a Mercedes-Benz product, don't expect the same level of convenience features as in a CLE 300 Cabriolet, for example. Having said that, it does come with heated, power, and memory seats, a heated steering wheel, leatherette upholstery, air conditioning, power windows and power mirrors, push-button start, keyless entry, the aforementioned rear camera mirror, built-in navigation system, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity, a wireless phone charging pad, and a backup camera. And finally, for the warranty, it is covered by a 3-year 60,000 kilometer new vehicle, a 5-year 100,000 kilometer powertrain, and the battery is covered by an 8-year 160,000 kilometer warranty. The Mercedes-Benz eSprinter is probably not going to be an option for every company and business owner. It has less payload and towing capabilities, fewer body options, no all-wheel drive option, and it costs more than the diesel version. However, vans like this one are meant to be driven for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, maybe even 1 million or more. So in a short amount of time, the extra cost of an electric van like this will be made up in fuel savings over the diesel, as well as the cost of installing a few chargers at your company to charge up this van. So in the end, choosing between an electric Sprinter and a diesel Sprinter will depend more on how much payload and towing your business requires. At least that's my thinking. I don't know, I don't own a business, so if there are any business owners out there, how will you decide? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, if you would like to know more about this 2024 Mercedes-Benz eSprinter, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely an SUV next time. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.